Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is how Liverpool dressing room reacted to Alexander Isak £125 million signing. Latest Liverpool transfer news and gossip as the Reds complete the £125 million signing of Alexander Isak from Newcastle United. Several Liverpool players have already begun to give their verdict on the signing of Alexander Isak. The Reds confirmed the club record deal to bring the Sweden international to Anfield late on Monday evening. Liverpool had reached an agreement for a £125 million transfer fee to sign Isak from Newcastle United ahead of deadline day, putting an end to months of ongoing and intense speculation. The deal was confirmed a couple of hours after the deadline had passed, with Isak being awarded the number 9 shirt which had been vacated following the departure of Darwin Núñez. Isak will now be expected to link up with the Sweden national team during the international break before taking part in his first training sessions as a Liverpool player. A debut could come against Burnley on September 14 in the club's first match after the international break, after which point the Reds will then face Atletico Madrid and Everton at Anfield in the Champions League and Premier League, respectively. In what has been one of the biggest transfer sagas of the summer, it has led to members of the Liverpool dressing room reacting on social media. The Reds posted several times on their Instagram account following Isak's announcement, including photos and videos from the striker's signing day. The post which confirmed the signing of Isak received more than 400,000 likes, including some from Hugo Ekitike and Milos Kerkez, as well as former Liverpool star Luis Diaz. Another post which included the caption, "Worth the wait," along with a photo of Isak was liked by Virgil van Dijk and Connor Bradley, while Diaz and club legend Ian Rush also liked both posts. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our second news is Liverpool signed 10 players and have 17 exits as £449 million spent in record-breaking summer. Liverpool have had one of the most expensive transfer windows in football history, with Arne Slot's man adding to their eye-watering business on a thrilling deadline day. The Premier League champions have not messed around this summer. Liverpool have splashed the cash in the transfer market like never before as they aim to keep hold of their crown. The Reds have spent over £449 million in their attempts to bolster their side for the 2025-26 campaign. Their headline arrivals include the signings of Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz for £125 million and £116 million respectively. Hugo Ekitike has also been signed from Eintracht Frankfurt to add to their attack. Defense has also been on the agenda for Arne Slot, with Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Kerkez having all been signed. The Reds were also close to signing England defender Mark Gahey, but that deal collapsed thanks to Oliver Glasner. Despite that outlay, the Reds have recouped some huge funds over the course of the transfer window, earning potentially a whopping £262 million in sales. Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz both bid farewell after helping the club to the title last term. Academy graduates have also earned the club considerable amounts, with Trent Alexander-Arnold among those to have left. With all of that being said, take a look at all of the transfers that the Reds have confirmed throughout the summer with the window now shut. Liverpool have smashed the British transfer record by signing Alexander Isak for £125 million, 1,500 rupees crore. Arne Slot's first summer has been nothing short of historic: 10 new signings, 17 exits, and £449 million spent in a record-breaking transfer window. On deadline day, Isak jetted in, Harvey Elliott shocked fans with a move to Aston Villa, and one huge deal collapsed after tense talks. We also dive into Liverpool's firm stance on Mark Gahey and the latest Barcelona links with Rodrigo. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our third news is inside Liverpool deadline day as Alexander Isak jets off and transfer collapses after tense talks. A look at a dramatic deadline day at Liverpool as Alexander Isak joins for a British record £125 million, but Mark Guéhi slips through the net to stay at Crystal Palace. The inevitable slamming shut of the transfer window at 7 p.m. on Monday evening completed a remarkable 24 hours of activity for Liverpool. The Premier League champions have often prided themselves on steering clear of the madness that afflicts the top flight twice a year, but they found themselves plunked right in the thick of the drama as the 2025 summer window entered its final moments. That was, in part, by design. The Reds had been relaxed all summer about their interest in Mark Guéhi, believing the longer they left negotiations, the tougher it would be for Crystal Palace to maintain a hardline stance given their captain was inside the final 12 months of his deal. It was no surprise that negotiations only really ramped after the season had started in mid-August, but if the £35 million agreement seemed like it was heading for the sort of conclusion many had anticipated back in the early weeks of the window, Guéhi's London medical did not lead to the completion of the deal. Having identified Brighton's Julio Igor as the man to succeed Palace's captain Guéhi, the emergence of interest from West Ham United threw a claret and blue spanner in the works, leading to the Seagulls man to have a change of heart and plunge Liverpool's pursuit of the England international into jeopardy. Having maintained a dignified silence while continuing to lead out the FA Cup winners with pride while he awaited developments of his dream move to Anfield, it was hard not to feel sorry for Guéhi as he contemplated an 11th-hour breakdown of his switch. Oliver Glasner had made no secret of his insistence that the 25-year-old would only be allowed to leave after a replacement had been signed and after starting the summer with an interest in Sporting's Ousmane Diomande before seeing links to Evan Dika, Manu Akanji, and Strahinja Pavlovic. It was clear there was no shortage of effort at Selhurst Park to help facilitate their defender's departure. Part of that, of course, was due to the respect the club have for the man who skippered them to the first major trophy in their history in May's Cup win over Manchester City, but Palace are also a club who are unable to absorb the loss of England internationals whose true value at Selhurst Park exceeds £60 million. That much was made obvious by Chairman Steve Parish in the bowels of Wembley after the penalty shootout win over the Reds in the Community Shield last month. The Eagles' chief was pragmatic in his acceptance that Guéhi could not leave as a free agent next summer, but that stance jarred with Glasner's, who has repeated his determination to retain his talisman in recent days. "We had a meeting in March and we had an agreement that we're just selling Mark if we have the right replacement in," Glasner said after Sunday's 3-0 win at Aston Villa. "And we wanted to have this replacement at the beginning of the season, the pre-season, to be independent from this situation." This was July 9th, today is August 31st, there is no replacement in the building. So it is clear that one part of the agreement is not fulfilled, that means we can't sell Mark. And it's not for Oliver Glasner. It's not a gift or a wish for Oliver Glasner. It's necessary for playing a successful season. We had a great start, we are the first-time European football and I think our fans deserve to have the best players available. And no, if we don't sell Mark then Mark will accept it. Because he loves Crystal Palace, he loves the team and we feel the appreciation he has and he also feels the same from his side. For a club usually so adept at avoiding the melodrama of the final moments of the player trading months, the ensuing confusion was quite the departure as claims and counterclaims were made over what would lie in store for Guéhi and the biggest move of his career. But within 45 minutes of the deal sheet being submitted to permit an extra 2 hours to secure the terms, the deal had collapsed, with Glasner winning the internal struggle with Parish. Those discussions are said to have been particularly frank as the Austrian remained steadfast in his refusal to countenance the sale of the skipper who led them to the FA Cup, the only piece of major silverware in their history. Glasner reportedly claimed he would quit his job as manager if Guéhi was sold, leaving Palace chiefs with the unenviable prospect of having to replace both a cup-winning manager and club captain, after the deadline, for what was already widely being viewed as a knockdown price of £35 million. For Palace, that trade-off simply wasn't worth it, even if there will be some private sympathy for Guéhi's misfortune. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our fourth news is Harvey Elliott sends message to Arne Slot after leaving Liverpool for Aston Villa on deadline day. Liverpool have secured the signature of Alexander Isak but have also waved goodbye to playmaker Harvey Elliott as he moves on to Aston Villa. Deadline day proved to be a busy one for Liverpool. Alexander Isak has finally joined Liverpool, completing a British record move from Newcastle United on deadline day. The Swede has dominated the rumour mill for weeks, but Liverpool finally have their man, and so nearly added another. Mark Guéhi's move to Liverpool was scuppered late on deadline day, as Crystal Palace chose to keep hold of the defender. Liverpool may return for Guéhi in 2025, with the England international set to become a free agent at the end of next season. Harvey Elliott sends message to Arne Slot after Liverpool exit. Liverpool also allowed one high-profile exit on deadline day, with Harvey Elliott completing a move to Aston Villa. There is little doubting Elliott's quality, and we saw him shine for England during the UEFA Under-21 European Championship over the summer. First-team chances at Liverpool have not been easy to come by, though, especially with Florian Wirtz joining the Reds this summer. Elliott has now decided to move on and has sent an emotional message on Instagram upon sealing his move to Aston Villa. Elliott admitted that joining Liverpool was a dream come true for him and his family, having grown up supporting the club. The playmaker lived the dream as a Liverpool player, winning silverware and playing a key role in real success for his boyhood side. Elliott sent thank you messages to both Jurgen Klopp and current Liverpool boss Arne Slot, thanking them for their help in his career to date. A new challenge is what Elliott needs right now, admitting that his ambition in the game means he needs to leave Liverpool for a fresh start. When I joined Liverpool in 2019, it was a dream come true for me and my family. As a young child I traveled the world supporting the team as a fan, and words will never be able to explain the feeling I had when I pulled on that famous red shirt for the first time as a player, said Elliott. Over the course of the last 6 years I've experienced so much and grown from a young 16-year-old boy into a man during my time at the club. Growing up I could never have imagined that I'd go on to play 150 games for my boyhood team, winning 7 major trophies and culminating in being part of the squad to have won the Premier League last season with such a special group. Thank you to everybody at the club for welcoming me from the very first day I arrived and for looking after me ever since. Thank you to the board and Jurgen Klopp for helping me live my dream of becoming a Liverpool player. To Arne Slot, all of the coaches and staff who have helped me along the way, and of course my teammates. It's been a privilege to play with you all, and I feel lucky to have made so many lifelong. Our fifth news is 1,500 rupees crore for Alexander Isak. Liverpool shatter all-time British record to sign Sweden striker. Isak's fee surpasses the previous British record of £107 million paid by Chelsea for Enzo Fernandez in 2023. Liverpool signed striker Alexander Isak for a British record fee of £125 million, $169 million, from Newcastle as the Premier League transfer window closed with a flurry of blockbuster moves on Monday. Isak agreed a reported 6-year contract with the English champions after they finally convinced Newcastle to accept an improved bid. Me getting the chance to be a part of this, I want to create history. I want to win trophies, said Isak, who will wear Liverpool's number 9 shirt. That's ultimately the biggest motivation for me, and I feel like this is the perfect place for me to grow even further and to take my game to the next level and help the team as well. Isak's fee surpasses the previous British record of £107 million paid by Chelsea for Enzo Fernandez in 2023. Liverpool had a £110 million offer rejected by Newcastle in August, but Isak's determination to force through the move paid off after the transfer saga grew increasingly tetchy. The forward told Newcastle he wanted to leave and spent part of pre-season training alone at his former club Real Sociedad rather than linking up with Eddie Howe's team. Isak is Liverpool's 8th first-team arrival of the summer window, and his purchase marks the second time they have broken their own transfer record following the capture of Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen for an initial fee of £100 million. But Liverpool, who beat Arsenal 1-0 on Sunday to maintain their perfect Premier League record this season, missed out on England defender Mark Guéhi after Crystal Palace vetoed his sale at the last minute. The Reds' remarkable summer spending has exceeded the £400 million mark, although there have also been significant departures including exits for Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Newcastle last week signed Germany striker Nick Woltmade for a club record fee reported to be worth up to £69 million. That paved the way for the departure of Isak, who scored 27 goals for Eddie Howe's team in all competitions last season and helped them end a 56-year trophy drought with victory over Liverpool in the League Cup final. Donnarumma set for Man City. Newcastle immediately spent some of the Isak fee on DR Congo forward Yoane Wissa, who arrived from Brentford for an initial £50 million. Wissa scored 19 Premier League goals last season, and the 28-year-old will give Saudi-owned Newcastle extra firepower as they prepare for their Champions League campaign. Italy goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma was reportedly set for a move to Manchester City after being told he was surplus to requirements at Paris Saint-Germain. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC. Our last news is transfer rumors. Liverpool stake unwavering Guehi claim, Barcelona I Rodrigo. Raheem Sterling, Emiliano Martinez, Rodrigo, Ibrahima Konate, Mark Guehi and more feature in today's gossip. After his failed move to Merseyside, Mark Guehi remains a priority target for Liverpool in January or next summer when he becomes a free agent. Source: Mail Sport. Raheem Sterling is thought to have no interest in a move to Turkey, Saudi Arabia, or the United States, keeping him at Chelsea for the foreseeable future. Source: The Athletic. Tottenham Hotspur missed out on Ademola Lookman, who is nearing a move to Galatasaray. Source: Yegis Sabunkoglu. Barring a shock move, Emiliano Martinez looks poised to sit on the sidelines for the first half of the season after Aston Villa ignored his request to join Manchester United. Source: The Mirror. Stefan Ortega turned down a move to join Galatasaray despite Manchester City's desire to sell the third-choice keeper. Source: Daily Mail. Milan remains interested in Joe Gomez, especially since they missed out on Barcelona's Hector Fort to Elche. Source: Fishages. Chelsea's interest in Fermin Lopez was never going to amount to anything as the attacking midfielder never asked or intended to leave Barcelona. Source: Marca. Andreas Christensen's future at Barcelona is uncertain now that Hansi Flick has demanded a centre-back signing in January. Source: El Nacional. Real Madrid remain determined to sign Ibrahima Konate as a free agent next summer following the expected departures of David Alaba and Antonio Rudiger. Source: Defensa Central. Atletico Madrid are unwilling to part ways with Conor Gallagher unless it is a permanent deal. Source: Team Talk. Real Madrid are actively working on the return of Nico Paz from Como as their much-needed midfield reinforcement. Source: Defensa Central. Although Rodrigo opted to stay at Real Madrid, the Brazilian still has mounting interest from Saudi Arabia, as well as Barcelona. Source: UOL. Real Madrid considered Kobbie Mainoo as a replacement for Dani Ceballos, but the interest fell through when the Spaniard decided to stay in the Spanish capital. Source: Fishages. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.